Hey guys, Katie here. I am going to show you in today's video how to cut your memory protector for this waterfall feature for your layout.
Okay, so a lot of you have inquired about how this fits in your page protector or your memory book once you put it in your album. So I am going to show you today how to do that. Now, I would like to preface this with there are a couple of ways. I'll walk you through the benefits of each one. Well, the benefit of the one that I'm going to show you. But then there are also numerous ways to adhere your flip-flaps to your layouts. And I have lots and lots of videos to showcase that. Okay, one thing that is important to note is when you are looking at this little mechanism here, and it's going to be hard to tell, but once I actually get the memory protector cut, you'll understand what I'm saying. This bottom photo right here doesn't go past this mark. So it's a little illusion. You think it comes down, but you can see it stays until it's its time to pop out. So you kind of have to have that in mind as well, no matter where you put it on your page. The easiest thing to do would be just to cut a hole in your memory protector to allow this whole thing, to be exposed. Your photos are in little flip flaps, so they are not exposed, so you wouldn't have to worry about these photos per se. But you have to keep in mind that the reason we have memory protectors is to protect our photos. And if you have a big hole right here in your memory protector, then it's going to allow dust to get in. Another thing is, because of the location of this waterfall thing, it's on the very edge. It would be very hard. You could probably cut the hole, but it would compromise the stability of the memory protector. And so that's why I'm going to show you how to do some slits. Okay, I'm going to move this to the side. And it's also important that you either have a T-ruler, or if you have a Versamat, something that's going to show you inches. So right now we see that this bottom photo is 2.5 inches down from my top of my layout. And then it moves slightly once it gets to the end, just because the little score marks you can't see. So see how the little score marks start to slide? So it moves slightly. So now it's down to 3. Okay. So that is what we needed to know. Okay, so the other thing we want to measure is we want to measure how far down this is from the top, and then we want to measure where this is, because there's going to be a slit right there. Okay, so that one we've got 3/4 of an inch. And then remember I told you that that bottom photo started at 2.5 and went down to 3. So we're going to use that bottom number, which is 3 inches. And then this one is at like 7 1/8, but we can make that slit at 7. In fact, it's better if you make the slit above this piece, and this piece just kind of hangs out of the memory protector, and that's going to be really easy to pull it instead of having to fish it. So we're going to do that one at 7 inches. So again, from the top, and then remember that that bottom photo starts at 2.5, but once it's fully unfolded, it goes to 3. So I'm looking at that bottom measurement, and then right above the edge of this, so 7 inches. Okay, you are going to need some things. If you've never seen my memory protector videos before, there are a few things that I always use. You'll need an X-Acto knife. I have a photo safe pencil. It's kind of got a waxy feel to it, and that's going to allow me to make my marks plus erase them off my memory protector. I need a steel ruler. That's what I'm going to use to cut with my X-Acto knife. And then I use a foam insert. Because this is so close to the edge, that foam's not going to allow me to get to it. So I'm also going to use this little chipboard piece. This came with either some embellishments from Stampin' Up! Or a die cut or something, but that's what this is for. And then I use a silent setter. We are going to do some holes at the corners of all these cuts so that memory protector won't continue to run. So I'm going to pull out my memory protector and make some measurements. The other thing that I would like to note is that you'll need the measurement from here to here. So there's about 1/8 of an inch right here, and it goes over to 3.5. I'm going to bring my T ruler back in. And we're looking for 3/4 of an inch. Three inches. And then all the way down here to 7. Okay, so now we're going to do some cutting. I have that in there. I'm going to put it as far as I can to the edge. And then I'm just going to cut along this mark. You want to make sure that you're holding, that you don't rush, and that you're holding your blade as close to the steel ruler as possible. Because like I said, this memory protector likes to slip. So it's really easy to get off track. I'm just going to make a couple of passes.
I am going to just continue to cut along these lines, making sure that I'm evening them up. There were a couple, I believe, on this side that weren't even, so I just kind of took the liberty to even that up and making sure that I'm going just from slit to slit. Sometimes it's easier to cut a little short of the slit and then you can finish the cut off once you take your ruler off.
Okay, so we're good here. It looks like right here I just need to make a little slit. And right here I need to make a little slit. So while I have this cardboard in here, I'm going to take an eraser, and you can erase those little wax marks. Okay, and as far as the holes, we're only going to punch holes in these two corners because this, if it runs, it's only going to run to the seam, and it's a little bit too close for me to do any holes. So I'm just pulling out my silent setter. I have the middle size, which looks to be about 1/8 of an inch. And my silent setter comes with a little mat, but I don't think it's necessary to use it. So you're just going to put it on both of those corners and then punch a hole. So I don't know if you can see those holes. And the next thing we're going to do is move down to this line. Now this one can just be a single slit. I'm actually going to cut like maybe 1/16 of an inch. It is not going to be very thick at all, but I do want it with a little bit of width over here. And on this one, we're going to do a hole on this side. Okay, so you can see I've got 3 little slits, kind of a larger hole and then a slit. And then now is the moment of truth. We're going to put this in here. Now there are a couple of things you need to know. Is this little pull tab does not come through the bigger hole. You want it kind of under this, and then we're going to pull it out from this. But then once your photos get to the bottom, this 3-inch mark of this larger hole, you want to kind of pick up your photos, and you want to make sure that they are going on the outside of the memory protector. So we've got that. And then we are nearing this slit. Oh, I have a little mark right there. So you just want to reach your fingers in here. You want to take whatever pull mechanism you have. And then now you can just kind of walk that through. And just make sure it's at the bottom of your memory protector. We are good. The cuts are large enough. This one actually needs to go a little bit more. I'm probably going to use my scissors for this. And then I'll take it out here in just a second and punch the hole. And there you go. Remember, that's that last one I said you might not want to do 5. And that will just go in with your other pages. Remember, we have this one. So this one will go just in a regular memory protector. And then this will go in between, and you have your full layout.
Here is a look at this layout in my actual scrapbook album and the functionality. I am loving how this turned out, as well as all the photos I was able to get on this 2-page spread. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. You can find links down below to all the products that I used, as well as you can click on this layout or this video to see the original layout and how it came together. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend.